The first question I like to ask you guys is, do you believe that you live in a nightmare? Do you perceive your reality, your present reality? Is what I'll say. Get my thoughts together. Do you perceive your present reality as being a nightmare? Now, I want you guys to, I hear people always saying that nothing's perfect and that this isn't a perfect world, even though you aren't the world, folks. You're just a society whom is presently existing in the world. The world herself has some say so in what type of reality that she is holding, folks. So tonight, and this is like a piggyback off the other video, but this is a little bit more in depth because I talked a little bit about what is coming, folks. And, I asked the Lord about this actually. I talked to him tonight about this just before I came to talk to you guys, and I asked him about certain things, you know, involving these issuances, right? Now I told you guys that I wanted to get this going and get the ball moving, but what I was really saying in a nutshell, and these are things that we can all relate to, the idea of us having a better society, folks. Now I want you to picture, like I was saying, people saying that this isn't a perfect world and that this is just how it is in certain things. And I want you to understand that you are a society in general. I'm talking about worldwide. You are a societal wide group of people who embody these negative things, right? And so the reason why a better day is going to happen is because the Lord has given you free will. And with that free will, you have taken other people's free will. And I'm just trying to narrow it down in certain ways and say it in certain ways so that it's just to a point so you can get where all of this is going. This is not gloom and doom talk. This is glory talk because we're talking about a better day, folks. Right? Either you support that day or you don't. Now, since that day exists in higher vibration, then you will be definitely supporting that spectrum of what the Most High is doing on that end of the spectrum. But many of you are already in a negative place, and this is why you're getting swept out. See, Mother Earth has that say so, folks. It's her vessel. Your ignorance, and even when you get somewhat of an understanding of that, you're still willing to be selfish about how you're seeing this, folks. You are life, right? She is life as well. And if you're living in her world, then she has a right to certain things, and there has to be certain justices that will play out. Now, on a bigger scale, on a bigger level, the Most High is all things. He is observing all of these things, and anything that you see that's amazing to you that you've seen over the past short amount of time that has been incredible. I'm talking about weather conditions or things that you are worried about that you have no control over. The Most High is those things, folks. And He will do what He sees fit, folks. So since He is Mother Earth, the changes that will occur are His will. And the reason why we have a nightmare, you know, the reason why I would consider this, that I wanted you to picture yourselves in a world where nothing bad happened, where a world where no one stole from anyone else, in a world where there were no murders, in a world where everyone shared and everyone had everything, everyone was happy. There wasn't any type of foolishness because there was nothing that was needed to be done to how people do things to try to get a thrill or something. There is no reason for a thrill when life is a thrill, when life is thrilling. You get what I'm saying? That's a better way to put it. But picture yourselves living in this fashion where there is no money, right? There is no stress, right? If you had a vehicle and your vehicle was, for whatever reason didn't work anymore, you would just go get another vehicle. You would just go trade it in, right? And the purpose and the drive of society would be to keep the society going. You see? And it's very efficient, folks. But there's no reason to be jealous when everyone has everything. See, only when you have a mind where you don't want to feel lesser than someone if they're standing on the same level ground as you still feel small, so you have to feel elevated over these people. These are psychological conditions. These are narcissistic dynamics, folks. And that's why I'm speaking to this tonight. You know, the reason why I give you the warnings, like I was saying, is to get you to realize that the Most High is an authority. Now, I was talking to him tonight about this, about the issuance, like I was saying, because that's the most important part of this conversation. We'll get to that. But the issuance is me showing you that God is the authority. Me, I talk to him, folks. I have really extensive conversations with him. And before I issue or say anything, trust me, I have talked to him about it or discussed it with him. Because I am in his service, folks. He is in charge. He is holding my life, but it's your lives as well. This is for the miscreants, folks. Speaking of miscreation, right? Or the unlawful dynamic. Let's get to uh, Minnesota. Let's talk about that again. Let's revisit that. Not because it's such a trending topic, but because I want you to understand that an injustice was done right before your eyes. And there are those of you who, because of you have a certain place in your heart you may feel about the person, the victim, you don't see the real thing in front of your eyes, which was the murder, right? It is what it is, folks. In God's eyes, there is no PR talk, folks. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? He's watching this all, folks. You know. So, because of how you feel about that person, how they looked or something that you detest or you don't like, or you've been trained to think such a way or something, you don't even see this person as a human. But I keep telling you, folks, that person, and I'm not saying this I want you to understand the bigger purpose of what I'm saying, which of all this stuff I've been telling you, folks. I am related to Mother Earth, folks, right? That guy, when I look at that guy, I see someone who looks like me, folks. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And I'm not saying that on a level that you guys think I'm saying it on, because I've seen greater things, folks. I understand this on a greater level, but just to entertain your bullshit on a certain level, to get you to understand for a minute, right? I am related to Mother Earth, folks. I look the way I look. I was talking to the Most High about this yesterday. I was telling y'all this. And I was telling him that, Lord, my skin looks like your skin look when you in recorded history of certain things when you come, Lord, and done certain things. And I wanted y'all to understand that there's something going on in your conscious hearts, folks. Because you're ignorant to a lot of things. I asked you what Mother Earth looks like. Remember, Mother Earth is your home, folks. I just want you to think about that for a minute. Because where else are you living right now? Right? Now, you can easily go live somewhere else if you like. It's very easy. You can give your suit back. But there's a place for your vibration. That ignorance is not going to save you from sinking lower into lower vibration, folks. All of this is educational that I'm talking to you for, not just to hear myself talk. Because I was talking to the Lord about this. You know, The Lord is bringing justice, and things will increase until certain forces and foolishness is swept out. And that better day will come because those things exist. And that is why you get the injustice. There's no need to have a riot if there's no injustice, folks. And guess what, folks? There are a trillion, and I'm just using that number loosely because there's no such thing as a number in greater infinity, right? There is no number. There is no number. But I'll use a trillion. There are a trillion societies who have more than any of you have, who are happy and content in their lives on any level. If there was marriage, if there was love or anything, they are completely happy. There is no reason to cheat or want something someone else has because you are completely fucking content and happy and you give praise to God. You are vibrating on a higher level, folks. That's called a heavenly world. See, you can't imagine that because demoniacs have taken over your consciousness. They haven't taken over Mother Earth. Mother Earth can just sweep your ass out. You are the fucking germ on the floor and she's got the broom and the dustpan. She can just sweep your asses out. And that'll take care of the problem of what she wants in her world, folks. It's her world, right? See, it's a reason for my own understanding of me learning my relationships to them and understanding certain things. But, the tangibles is the important thing. The examples is what we talked about, right? The issuance. Justice has not been done in Minneapolis, folks. And God is watching this, is the point I was saying, because he's the greater point. And I told you guys that I didn't want to make this about an ego, but now that we're starting to get into more what's going on with this stuff, I'm going to give you guys an example. The Lord is God. Do y'all understand? Vishnu is God. This example will show you that he is God, right? That he is God, folks. I'm not getting into your doctrines and your cultures and your different this or that. I'm telling you that I walk with the heavens every day. And the reason why I walk with the heavens is because the Most High God, the creator of the universe, whom holds the universe, whom has shown me, folks. And I try to give you these examples. Whom has shown me is God. It's my duty in his service to tell you this. And in warning because you're being swept out. And that is the bigger threat for you in this warning. For you to realize that there's something you're doing wrong that does not allow you to live on this plane of existence any longer and continue to do the bullshit that you've been doing any longer. Does that make any sense? I'm trying to get you to see the purpose of all of this, right? So there hasn't been any justice done in this case, this has happened so many times, folks, that you're really conditioned and seasoned to this bullshit, and you don't value a life. And that was the purpose I brought up with the person said about this rioting, as if they don't understand the purpose of some civil unrest and upset of this continuously happening, of people being murdered by the oppressors, folks. And because you have bought and started drinking the Kool-Aid, you don't even buy into the value of the souls that get harmed physically in this thing. But since the Lord is in control, folks, what you fail to realize is that the very people, folks, the very people that you spit on, folks, they look like me, folks. And you know what I'm going to say next, And Mother Earth is in my family, folks. And guess what? She is holding the world that you actually live on, no matter where you are, in your fucking caves, in your homes, on the toilet. You get what I'm going with this. Wherever you are in this world, she is this world, folks. And more importantly, the Most High is her, folks. She is an extension of him, folks. Right? So I wanted to make sure I clarify some things with him tonight before I came to talk to you about this. And I devote this work, Lord. I devote it. is that justice needs to be done. And to give you guys an example of what I'm talking is the truth, I have to give you those tangibles once again, but I'm doing this and I need you to use your IQ in this conversation for a minute. Use your brain power as we have this interaction for a minute. I want you to listen to what I'm saying to you. I'm giving you a tangible thing. The reason why I'm doing this is to establish that I am not the authority, right? My great friend is the Most High Himself, who is the authority, folks. And I'm going to prove this to you because He is God and because He is so great and holds your lives. But He is Vishnu, folks. And I told you to call out to Him, folks. It doesn't matter what you think because He holds your life, whether you're on this side of the fence or the other. But the point is that salvation and all of that goodness and the things that you can picture in a beautiful world where people had sense completely all the time, anytime, because they had God. And they even had it in their technology. I gave you examples of spiritual technology, the beauty of God and your technology. God is aware of everything you guys do, your politics, how you talk, and everything. He is you, folks. He is your ability to talk, folks. So He knows everything about everything you do, every single one of you throughout the fucking universe. Are you listening to me? The point I talk to you about this is to try to really get you guys to understand that you're going to be swept out. Now, for those of you who have already broken your mirrors or have these problems, I'm not really talking to you. I'm only talking to that small lot of people who are listening and are going, yeah, right? And realizing God and giving Him thanks every day. You start out by doing these things. You have to build your relationship with Him, folks. But folks, the time is coming for a new day. A new day is here, but the developments of that day is what I say are on the horizon. And I'll use this example in Minnesota, folks. Right? It doesn't matter what the judges do or the judicial system or anything manly system does for in this case, because the Lord is in charge, like I was telling y'all. And I've given y'all examples of things, right? And I've given y'all dates and stuff, and I've told y'all the timestamp and done certain things like that. And there's a reason for it. I have no fear of any so-called authority because I know who the real authority is, folks. The purpose of establishing this to you is to get you to understand that the Most High God, the Creator, is here, folks. It's reckoning time, folks. I'm speaking to you, folks. I am blessed by Him to know Him personally, and I'm trying to give you an example, folks. But the example is to establish that I'm talking the truth. I've shown a few of you, and you believe this. There are many of you who've seen things, and you just want to be ooh and ah. But there's a purpose for the presentation, folks. That is the real important part about all of this, right? Not talking for my health, folks. So because the Lord gives me backing, folks, and because He is the authority, folks, you understand that this is His will and that He's in complete control. What these actions do is they establish to you that He is the authority. And for those of you who have sense, you will witness His greatness in these acts or these miraculous things, and you will realize He is the true authority. Right? Because He'll do away with all of those forces who perceive themselves as the authority. Do you get what I'm saying? They're going to be done away with, folks. Are you listening? I've been giving you time to really process this over this time. Do you believe He's capable of bringing a reckoning is what I ask you. What in the world does that mean to you, folks? Right? No pun intended. What in the world does that mean to you, folks? Right? Do you see what I'm saying? The Most High is my backing. So in Minneapolis, and you can timestamp the day. Maybe today is the first or is it the second today? You can timestamp, right? It's in the midnight time frame or something like that. So it's up there, and it's maybe the first or the second, right? Okay. And I've done this before, but I'll give you amount of time, right? I'll come up with a certain amount of days. And I'll do this specifically for you to count with me, right? And why do I do that? I'm trying to walk you through it. Do-dee-dee-dee. See, I'm walking you through it. I'm showing you before the time that this is going to occur. Now, how do I know? Because the great hand who is responsible for all the currents is in charge of this, folks. Right? And I told you, this is not for an ego purpose. This is to get you to realize that he is God. Once you start realizing who's the real authority, then you will know you need to give him praise. And that will increase the frequency, folks. Right? But one way or another, these bad ones got to go. They got to get out of here. They got to get back on that side of the fence, folks. So you can experience things for the best of you to get a taste of what it feels like to not live in a rat race. I ask you, do you believe that you're living in a nightmare? Do some of you believe this? Or do you think you're living in a paradise? Even if you have money, money is not real, folks. I tell you about volcanoes because I make a point to make to you that, there was some in, I forgot, was it Pompeii or something, where they found that guy, fossilized with a fistful of gold coins or something that he had taken from the coffers right before the mountain, I think Vesuvius or something, erupted or whatever, that ancient volcano, right, during those times. And to this day, they have a fossilization of this guy that they show people. But people are not grabbing the bigger story. That money could not do anything for him. During that day, that gold was the greatest example of wealth one could have. And he grabbed it. And thousands of years later, we look back at him, and he never physically stepped past that day. Now, I'm sure he's existing somewhere in vibration. But for this material plane, he was taken out of here. And this is how you'll be wiped out, folks. I'm giving you examples. You can see your own examples in history, just like I told you. Right? You have no control of these things, but the best of you are not afraid because you know that this is something that the Most High is doing for your benefit. You trust him. You know he holds you as he knocks everything off the cliff. You are not going over the side, and you're not going to perish, folks. Right? So I'm telling you this for a reason. As an example of the fact that there was a lot of unlawful things that took place in Minnesota based on technical, basic bullshit human law, right? And it was corrupted because man is corrupted, right? Where the law of God is greater than the law of man. He is in charge. He is the ultimate authority, right? So he is the person responsible for ultimate judgment of the people who are giving judgment, like the courts or anything, or the people being prosecuted, or the people riding, or anybody. All of you, he holds your lives, folks. That is how great he is, folks. And I'm going to prove it to you, folks. Let's get to the good part. I'm going to prove this to you once again. But this is not for a pony show, folks. As we go forward into this, I will just come on and I will say what I need to say to you when he gives me word. And I've always done this. I will say what I need to say, and then you won't hear from me again until it's time to talk again, folks. But this is about what's coming, what's here, what's transpiring. If you wake up before you go off the cliff, you got time to brace yourselves, and bracing yourselves is holding on to the Most High. But I'm going to show you that the Most High is an authority. I'm going to show you that Mother Earth is the earth whom is holding this world, folks. That the duties they are doing that you take for granted, that you haven't paid them. If you justify paying for water that they make and create, the heavens create as a duty for the Most High, folks. The Most High is giving you this water for free, right? You need this to survive. You haven't paid the heavens. You haven't paid Mother Earth any water tax. You haven't paid the great sun for the energy, right? You haven't paid for the electricity. You haven't paid Indra. You haven't paid the heavens anything for anything that you're doing, folks, right? The animals that you commercialize, right, and commodify, right? And that you slaughter. You haven't paid the nature goddess. You haven't done many of these things. All of the things that they're doing, folks. So I'll tell you when something's going to happen at this point, and you will just bear witness. I'm not going to give you the pony show part of this. I'm not going to give you a walking example is what I'm saying, like I'm doing right now. I'm setting you up for what's going to take place, right? Now, because God is watching this, I'm trying to let you guys know that He is the authority in this discussion. He is responsible for everything that occurs, folks. And He can alter the outcome any way He wants. And I'm going to give you that example to show you that He is the authority. Now, I want you to pay attention to how this is developing. Don't dee-dee-doo-dee on me. Pay attention to how I'm telling you this, and this is beforehand. And when it occurs, then you will know that the Most High did this. Right? You see what I'm saying? And then once that happens, you will realize that everything I have told you is the truth. And then you can listen about what I say about a better society and a better day and apply it to your conscience right now and embrace for when the Lord brings the thunder on these fools. There are certain people and demoniacs that have to go from the society, folks. And that's the only way that you're going to get the peace that you need. That's the only way that you're going to be beautiful souls and you're going to get to blossom, right? Otherwise, you're going to be suppressed and feel pain and the misery, the rat race. Those of you who are too ignorant to realize that the rat race is the pain are part of the problem, folks. Your collective conscious energy that you put into it is hurting others as well, whether you know it or not. And there's a place for you in wherever you vibrate, but it won't be in a possibility vibration, meaning that greater edge or placing where you can experience the heavenly world. You can experience the makings because you're just infants with this. You're foes. You don't even know that the universe is in oneness, that all of these trillions of societies and worlds, the heavens, folks, the Most High is very active in the universe, folks. You understand? And the point I make to you is that if Mother Earth bows at the feet of the Most High, and she acknowledges him and she bows at Vishnu's feet, if the great sun whom gives you sunlight bows at Vishnu's feet, who are you to tell them that he is not God, folks? Do you understand? You haven't paid them a dime. You're drinking water every day. You're charging people. You're cutting people's water off and shit. Right? We've talked about this, right? So y'all know these are real examples going on day to day of this foolishness, this madness that you guys live in, and you buy into it and you think it's the greatest shit since sliced bread. Whom, by the way, Mother Earth is the bread, folks. Literally. And more importantly, the Most High is her. He is the bread, folks. And how do I know? Because trust me, I know, folks. And I can back up everything I'm saying. So to not ramble on tonight, let's talk about justice. The Lord knows everyone's soul involved in this situation. He knows everything about everyone anybody I saw on TV. The Lord knows who they are. He knows when they're going to pass. He knows everything about their life because he holds their life. And I'm going to prove to you how great he is. Right? For an example, right? The Lord is looking at this situation, and I'm going to talk to him about this further, right? Because I'm saying this, and I didn't necessarily talk to him about this part, but because he is endorsing me to talk to you tonight, then I'm going to discuss this with him after this video. But the Lord is watching because he's so great, folks. And that's why I talk about the formalization of my relationship to him, about how sometimes it's like he is so great and I'm talking to him. He lets me be me, but I still recognize that he is the Most High, that he is supreme, folks. I'm serious. And I know his great power and I trust it, folks. And I've given you this in many examples, folks. And you've seen and bore witness to what has occurred from these things, these discussions. But this is for your better good. The Most High knows. That's what you need to understand. You're not greater than him. You don't hold your life whether you're living in this world or not, folks. He does. So remember who's the authority. And that's what I really want you to understand. Because he's the authority over the judges, over the courts, over the air breather, underarm funkers, folks, over the politicians, folks. So the politics of who's right or wrong is not important. And that's what I was trying to get to in that first video. But I really went into some other things. In this case, I'm going to make a point about the issuance. The Lord is looking at this situation, so there will be some justice brought in this situation. The Lord's hand will be doing this. Also, right? Because you're familiar with the weather occurrences, I will give you a weather occurrence, right? And I want you to think about this. These are great physical examples. That's why I always use these. Great storms and such, right? I use these as examples because I know the heavens, folks. He is the heavens, folks. And once this happens, this will establish that Vishnu is God, right? And we're going to start from there, right? Because it's time to start this off. You guys will experience and you will understand who God is. This is not about your egos when he holds your lives. And if you don't understand, there's a place for you. It's just not going to be in the reality that's coming forth. Mother Earth, whom is in my family, is going to bring the reality she wants for folks. Right? And I'm blessed to know her, folks. Okay? So, Minnesota will experience something from the hands of the Most High as far as justice in this situation. But also on another level with the weather, I'll say this. And I'll use a certain amount of time based on what day it is. It's today may be the 2nd or something, right? But I'll say that today is probably Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken at this point. In 4 days, right? 4 days from today, from this very time that I'm discussing this with you, Minneapolis will have some issues, right? There'll be something, you'll have a weather situation, and that'll occur, right? And it'll be another example of something that you have no control over, and this will show you that the Most High is in control, right? That the authorities are not in control, that no one involved, no one living and walking in service is in control. And because you guys are arrogant, you don't see who the real authority is. You don't bow to the real authority, folks. And that's why you got to go for that better day, right? Do you understand spiritual technology is beautiful, folks? Do you understand that, like I told you guys, you think about all of the things that you are limited on. When you have the Most High, there's an abundance of thoughts, creation, ideas, everything, resource and everything. People are not overworked. People enjoy their lives. Everyone has everything they need, folks. Everyone has the technology to build. Everyone has serious technology, folks. People are vibrating on a level where they can utilize the fullness of virtual technology, folks. That's the best way to describe what I would say about that. The fullness of virtual technology, meaning that they could go into that space of virtual technology and exist in that space. But all of that is the positive end of God's energy, folks. You don't understand his science. And I ain't gonna babble on about that on this video. I'll do that for another video. But I'm trying to educate you, right? And warn you at the same time. And it's your choice. You have free will. You can say, I want to hold on to this. I believe in this. Do what you want. Do what you want. But I'm giving you the example. I'm going to give you the tangible. I told you 4 days from now. In 4 days, right, you will see a weather condition. Also, I told you that the Most High will see justice in this event. And to show you this. And this will make you think about people that you harm and people that you spit on, folks, because that guy looks like me, folks. I'm just trying to make an example to you, of you, or for you. If I know Mother Earth and you're living on the earth, that means she's doing something for you. If she's in my family and I love her and she loves me, honor great one. If the great sun whom gives you sunlight is in my family and he is my mentor, folks, you're not going to spit on someone who looks like me and think it's okay. And hold that in your heart and don't think that they know, because the Most High knows, folks. They are him, folks. They are his branches and leaves of his tree, folks. Don't you? You just don't understand. The Lord is so great, y'all cannot fathom how great he is. He knows everything about every single one of you, everywhere, anywhere, folks. Anytime, all the time, because he is your life, but you don't get it. So you'll get your example in 4 days. In 4 days, you'll have a weather condition that will take place where the man was uh, killed by the cop, right? Minnesota, right? And you'll bear witness to this. And it's the few of you who have sense will know. But I want y'all to do something. Y'all got to work with me on this, because you're going to be part of this new day. You're going to have to start going to other people and telling them the Most High. You're going to have to start breaking his signs down to other people, right? It's no point of you just coming to this channel and just being entertained, folks. This is about you learning something that's for greaterness. That the authorities that you praise cannot do anything for you, because they can't do anything for their damn selves when the Most High brings whatever he brings, right? And I'm not sure when he'll bring the situation as far as the justice overall with that situation, with the cop situation, the riot and all of that. But I can guarantee you that he will do it. But as far as the weather, to give you an upfront example, just something tangible in your face, there will be a serious weather condition in Minneapolis, right, in 4 days, right? Now, I want you to use your sense. You cannot whip God's ass. After you bear witness to this event, you're what you need to do is you need to praise him, right? Because it's going to start getting to a point where more of these things are going to occur. Because you guys are getting swept out. You are the guys who are being in defiance of him without even realizing it. And you just have to go because you're useless to this greater day. There will be a day where suppression will not exist, folks. If you've never seen the heavens, you've never seen a better day, you've never seen a greater thing, folks. This is not we're not talking about greater possibilities. We're talking about greater will happens, like I say. Will do's, will experiences, folks. Right? The Most High, I bow to him. He is holding my life. He holds the life of every single one of those punk motherfuckers on the police force or anywhere. He holds the life of all people, folks. He is that great, and I'm going to prove it to you. In 4 days, you'll get your weather condition. You can count the days from the day. And I'm thinking it's Wednesday, and I hope I'm correct on that. But if it is 4 days from Wednesday, you'll have some severe weather. And y'all can pay attention. Since everybody's paying attention to this case, I use this as an example of what's happened. Not for to exploit it, but just to use it. Since you're all paying attention to it, I'm going to show you how much the Most High is involved in everything that happens. He knows about this case, and I'm going to prove it to you. Since you're all paying attention to it, what makes you think he isn't paying attention to it, folks? He is you, folks. So I'm going to prove this to you once and for all, right? And let the fun begin, folks, right? This is not about games, folks. This is about duty. This is about being in his service, folks. This is about the new day, the greater things, folks. You will not experience a greater day, folks, if you don't vibrate properly, right? Looking in the mirror is how you realize who the Most High is. Giving him praise and thanks and offering every day. Now, I'm going to prove to you that what I'm saying is correct. And those little small few of you, y'all hang on with me, right? Truth in what I'm saying. I'm going to prove it to you. 4 days, right? As a matter of fact, the next time I come on, I'll wait the time out and we'll discuss it briefly when I come back. Because this is not about rubbing it in your face. This is about giving you an example. We're going to move forward in the next video. In the next video, when you get your example, we're going to go from there about how things should be. And I want you guys to think about who is the real authority. God, the Most High. Vishnu, folks. I said his name for a reason, folks. I'm going to prove to you that he is God. You have no control over nothing. You're just in a fishbowl. And you can be defined all you want. That's your free will. But you'll be done away with, folks. Right? And that's just the simple truth. There's no room for the foolishness anymore. I told you 2020 was not going to be a year for the bullshit. And you're seeing that, right? All right, 4 days, y'all. I'm going to bed. Y'all take care.